Hey guys, welcome. If you've been practicing the chakra journey with me, today is our second class, which focuses on the second chakra, the sacral chakra, the space right below the navel, below the belly button, our pelvis region, which is really a space for fluidity and creativity and pleasure and nourishing. So when this chakra, this area is balanced, we are going to feel very in the flow. We feel the creative energy flowing. We feel the two energies feeling very balanced and fluid. And when this chakra is out of balance, we may sense that we're not in the flow with whatever is happening. Or perhaps we may feel one of the energies a bit stronger than the other. So no matter how you identify as gender, all of us have a feminine and a masculine energy, or a feminine and a masculine quality within us. And yoga and this whole journey of chakras, we're practicing and we talk about this to find unity. And one of those unities is the unity, the union, the balance between the masculine and the feminine energy, the yin and the yang. So the yin, the feminine side, is kind of what we're going to explore today. And that's really identified or associated with the element of water. So if you practice the first chakra, the root chakra, that was all about grounding and finding stability and building a strong foundation. Today it's a little bit opposite. However, the funny thing is the two go hand in hand. So today it's all about going with the flow and finding, just like water, finding what feels good and what feels natural, and letting go of the control and the strictness of the practice, and just listening to your body and more connecting with the flow and the fluidity. So with all that said, let's talk about the props you may need today. As always, if you have blocks, highly recommend having 2 blocks for today's practice handy, and you can place them somewhere that's very easy to access. And depending on how you feel, how your body is feeling, you are always welcome to use a blanket or a cushion to sit on, so you can find a tall spine and a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Maybe you're sitting cross-legged, maybe you prefer to come into any other seated posture. That's gonna help you find groundness, let the sit bones sink in. Guys, just like the water that's always contained by the earth, by something that's holding that water, we're always wanting to start from the ground up. So you always want to find that comfortable seat, find the place where you feel very balanced and very grounded. Sit bones are even, legs and knees feel supported. And then from that space, connect and bring the awareness to the pelvic region. So this is our womb for women, where we give birth, where we nurture children. And for gender neutral purposes, this is the space where it's believed to be a space for pleasure, space for nourishment, a space where our creativity and our fluidity flows. So with that said, connect with that. And as always, bring the awareness to the breath and let the breath guide you. As you inhale, find a tall, comfortable spine. As you exhale, let the breath explore and follow the rhythm of the breath. Inhale expands the chest. You feel yourself full of life, full of energy. And the exhale maybe starts to settle in at that space in the pelvic region. The awareness starts to sink into that space. Chest stays expanded, shoulders stay relaxed. Maybe hands come one on top of each other, making a mudra that represents what we're trying to bring awareness to. And noticing our energy, noticing our breath. Reconnecting with the body and making a commitment that we're gonna let ourselves be in the flow today. We're not gonna be super rigid. We're just gonna let our body, our mind, and our breath unite and guide us through this practice. Taking a deep inhale, exhale, let the breath go. Slowly blink the eyes open. And let's come into cat and cow. If you need a blanket under your knees, feel free to use a blanket here. If not, bring the knees right under the hips. Make sure the knees are about hip width distance apart. And the wrists are directly under the shoulders. As always, find a place that works for you. 10 fingers, the inner hand pressing into the mat, tailbone going back, crown of the head going forward, belly is engaged. You find that lifting from the ground. Toes can be tucked or untucked, your choice. And then here, let's start with some cat and cows. So inhale, tailbone goes up, crown of the head goes up. Exhale, pressing the mat and rounding, tucking the tailbone in. Just a few. Let it be a little bit more fluid today versus really paying attention to the little movements. Let your body and your breath guide these movements. And try to connect with the pelvis. See if you can maybe imagine there is water in your pelvis. So you're tilting that water bowl up and you're tilting it back and down. And reconnect with this water element. Sometimes this helps us with getting a better sense of fluidity and being with the flow. And then ask yourself, do you maybe want to let the hips and let the pelvis guide this movement? And maybe go side to side, maybe make some circles. Whatever your body is asking you to do, give it that. Let the movement get a little bit more circular, a little bit more fluid. And whenever you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Find the balance between fluidity and containment, right? Because sometimes when we're too much fluid, then things start to get a little bit blurry, right? So see if you can maybe find a place where you find that sense of, all right, I'm with the flow, but I still have some sense of groundedness, some sense of containment. Beautiful. Come back to the center, tuck the toes under, and slowly make sure you're really committed to 10 fingers and the inner hand being super active. The arms are super engaged, shoulders pressing away from the ears, and then start to hover the knees for a moment. Slowly shift the weight back into downward facing dog. Take your time, you guys. Maybe step a little bit wider today. And just notice what your body needs in this down dog. How can you get all those little fidgets and all those stretches out of the way so you can come into your full expression of this pose and slowly find stillness, pressing the mat away, getting the spine super, super, super tall. Shoulders out of the ears, maybe readjusting the hands, maybe readjusting the feet, bending one knee, sending the hips all the way up and back, and then maybe straightening that leg and bending the other knee, doing the same thing. As always, you're welcome to have a very soft bend in the knees. Remember, there is no right or wrong way. We just talk about alignments, but you feel what feels good for your body today. Beautiful, you guys. Last breath in complete stillness in down dog. Slowly shift the weight forward into plank pose. Feel the strong plank. Again, listen to what feels good. Maybe wiggle side to side. Find that long, tall spine from the heels to the very crown, the very top of your head. Maybe sucking the belly in so the belly button is going closer towards the spine. Lifting the side waist in. Exhale, bring the knees down. And let's come back into our tabletop. This time, let's hover the right knee, find our tabletop first, and then bring the right knee closer to your nose, and then start to make a circle, opening the right hip, sending the right leg up, and then keeping the knee bend and doing that same thing again. Bring the right knee closer to the center and then start to draw a circle with the right knee, opening the right hip, maybe sending the right foot up towards the ceiling and then bending that knee and doing the same thing over again. No right or wrong way here. We're just trying to practice very safely what it feels like to make some hip circles, some fluidity into the hips and opening and stretching and warming up the hips and the joints here. So again, recommit to pressing both hands into the mat, and whatever direction you are going, let's change it. So this time reverse the circle. Just connect with the breath and let the movement feel very natural, like this is what your body wants you to do. And of course, if anything does not feel good, pause and do the other side. You can always modify to what feels better for you and what feels good for your body. So on the left side now, making some knee circles, opening the left hip, opening the left side. Last breath here. And let's change the direction. So going opposite way. Beautiful, you guys. You can make these as active as you like. And maybe you start to sense maybe one side feels a little bit different than the other side. Notice these things. Don't judge. Don't dwell on it, but just notice. And these are the little things that your body is trying to communicate with you. Come back to tabletop, widen the knees, toes together, and wiggle the hips back. Find child's pose. As always, commit to the practice. Let yourself relax and reconnect with your intention, reconnect with your breath. Knowing that this pose is always available for you whenever you need a breather. And whenever you're ready, slowly rise up. Find downward facing dog again, listening to your body, sending the hips up and back. Taking a deep breath in down dog. Exhale here. On your inhale, roll it into plank pose. Press the mat away. Beautiful. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Lower the knees, lower the chin and the chest down. Inhale the heart forward, baby cobra. Press the tops of the feet onto the mat. Roll the shoulder heads up and back. Palms by your side, shoulders opening up, stretching the back muscles. Keeping the neck in line with the spine and long. Exhale, bring the head back, forehead back, relax. Tuck the toes under, plant the palms under the shoulders, and lift it up to plank pose. Send it back to downward facing dog. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Open the feet slightly wider than how you normally have it in down dog. And then turn the toes out, heels slightly in. Begin to walk the hands towards the feet. And then roll up when you reach the feet. And here, bring the palms together in front of the heart. Send the hips back, sit down in Malasana. So the knees are opening out to the side, your squat pose, yogic squat. For a lot of us, if this pose is uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to place a block and sit on a block here so you can feel your chest opening and the spine getting tall. If you don't need a block, then sit as deep as you can. And the elbows here actively press the knees out and open the knees. Chest is open, shoulders are down the back, neck is tall. Feel the tailbone ground, just like we did in our first class, finding groundedness, finding the root, but keeping a very softness into the hips and into the pelvis. Especially imagine you're smiling, the chest open. Take a deep breath here. Exhale. Next inhale. Let's practice Mula Bandha. So lift the bathroom muscles. And release. Let's do that one more time. On your breath, lift the bathroom muscles. Feel that lift coming, the energy coming from the ground up. Mula Bandha. And release this time. As you release, open the hands, rise all the way up. Hands come together at the top. As you exhale, sit back down, Malasana. Very nice. Let's do that with the breath. Inhale, rise. Exhale, and ground. Sit back down. Press the feet into the mat, rise on your inhale, hands come to touch. Send the tailbone down, long and tall spine, sit back down. Very nice, you guys. Inhale, rise. This time bring the palms together, bring the toes back, find Tadasana, mountain pose. Take your time to find the right alignment. Tailbone down, engage the core, lift the heart. Feel the energy coming from your feet to the very top of your crown of your head. Exhale, all the breath here. Inhale, rise, high prayer. Exhale, slight bend in the knees and fold over the legs. Let the belly touch the thighs and then fold over the legs and maybe straighten the legs if it feels good. Inhale halfway, tall spine. Exhale, walk it back to downward facing dog. In down dog, take a deep inhale. Exhale here. As you inhale, roll into plank pose, strong plank. This time, maybe we lower all the way down, one tall line of energy, all the way to your belly. Bring the palms a little bit further down. Inhale, roll it up to maybe a cobra. And exhale, find downward facing dog again. What we just did, flow option 2. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can inhale, roll into plank pose, find a tall plank. As you exhale, bend the elbows by your side, lower halfway, tall spine. Inhale, upward facing dog. You're on the tops of your toes. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale. Take a deep exhale. Nice. Again, whenever you need a breather, you're more than welcome to press into child's pose or lower the knees down. But if you can, stay with me. Exhale all the air out, ground through the feet, ground through the hands. Lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Press the mat away, lengthen, lengthen, and reach back through the right leg. Very nice. And then as you exhale, bend the knee to the nose, roll forward into plank like you're kissing the right knee. Send it back to three-legged dog, and then this time open the right hip, stack leg on top of leg. If it feels good, you're more than welcome to bend the right knee so you can get a little bit deeper into that hip. Your choice, your practice. You can stay here or you can make some circles if it feels better, if you're able to get a little bit deeper into that hip. Square it back up. Inhale, three-legged dog. As you exhale, step the right foot to the right thumb. Spin the back heel down. Rise up, warrior 2. Sit a little bit deeper, reconnect with the breath, and then again, see if you can soften something here. You already know the alignments, you probably have practiced this pose before. That knee is right over that ankle, hips are opening, arms are opening towards opposite direction, chest is open, but see what you can soften. Can you soften the belly? As you find that lift from the ground, can you soften the pelvis as you keep the pelvis even? Can you soften the shoulders as you find that lift and that length through the arms? Can you soften your jaw? Can you soften your cheekbones? Find that lift with the inhale. Exhale. Very nice, you guys. One more deep breath. Beautiful. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms. And then bring the arms back into warrior 2. Keep that front leg straight. Maybe place a slight bend in that front knee. Maybe you can bring that back hand to the hip or leave it. It's up to you, your practice. See if you can reach through the front arm, sending that hip back, keeping the hips open towards the side of the room. Beautiful. Keep reaching until you can't reach anymore. Then bring that top hand either to a block inside or outside of your foot, or bring that hand to your shin, to your ankle, to your foot. Your choice. Find that lift. Lift the belly, lift the chest, revolve up towards the ceiling, and maybe that top hand reaches up, just like a strong line of energy from that bottom hand all the way to the top hand. Keep the shoulders open, keep the chest open. Take a deep breath here. Find that lift Imagine someone was lifting you up by your top hand. Keep the chest open. Slowly begin to look back down at that front foot. Lift up. Sit back into warrior two. Take a peaceful warrior. And bring the hands to the mat. Let's take a flow. Step into plank pose, tall plank, and then choose your flow option, lowering with control. Inhale opens the heart, opens the chest. Exhale sends you to downward facing dog. Find your breath in down dog. Settle in your gaze. Let's find stillness. Use down dog to take a breather. We moved a lot. We created a lot of heat. That's one energy that's moving into our body. That's always go, go, go. That's always creating heat. But we balance that with the opposite energy in union and in balance, creating heat and then cooling it down, balancing the fire. With that said, take a deep cleansing breath. Recommit to grounding through the palms, grounding through the right foot. And then we'll lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Reach through the left leg. And then as you exhale, bend the left knee to the nose, roll forward. Really, really get tight here. Send that leg back into three-legged dog on your inhale. And then open the hips, stack that one hip on top of the other. Your choice to stay here or maybe bend the left leg. Opening the left hip. Take a breather. If you want to make any circles here, you're more than welcome to. And then square everything back up, three-legged dog. And step that left foot to the left thumb. Spin the back heel down, rise up into warrior two on the other side. So take your time, settle in. Arrive into warrior two, that works for you. After you set up your foundation and find their alignments, take a deep breath to open the hip and engage the arms into opposite directions. Sit a little bit deeper. And as you're revolving your chest and your ribs into opposite directions, the gaze, our drishti, is right over that front middle finger, softening the shoulders down. Finding that tall line from the tailbone going down into the earth to the crown of the head, lifting ourselves up, finding that balance, the opposition, the union between the different energies here. Softening whatever we can soften, maybe the jaw, maybe the cheekbones. Keeping that pelvic bowl balanced here. Keeping that lift into the side waist. Connecting with the breath. Last breath here. Inhale, straighten the front legs, straighten the arms. Again, your choice. You can always have a very soft bend into that front knee, and you're always welcome to heel toe that back leg in slightly. Keep the right hand, the back hand on the hip. Keep the hips open. Keep revolving that chest, and then reach through that front hand so much that you can't reach anymore. Then you begin to bring that hand to the mat, to your shin, to your ankle, or using a block here, keeping that shoulder back, chest open. Ground through the legs. Find your pose here, find your foundation. And then when you do, and if you can and if you like, you can lift the top hand up towards the ceiling. Triangle pose. One of my favorite poses. I love this balance between fluidity and then these holds into these postures that are so good for us. Because sometimes I feel like when you're holding a posture, you're really able to connect and see, how does that feel? What muscle am I working? How is my body feeling? What can I do to explore this more? Shoulders back, chest open. Last breath here. Lifting through that top hand. And slowly bring that hand back to the hip. Rise up, maybe bend back into warrior two. Your choice. Or take a peaceful warrior here. Just feeling that side stretch. And then hands cartwheel to the mat. Again, your choice to take a flow or meet us in downward facing dog. No judgment. Listen to your body. Let's take a deep cleansing breath. Shake the head, let it go. Nice. So ground, lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Right foot to the right thumb, rising up into warrior two whenever you're ready. Taking a peaceful warrior on our inhale. Coming back into side angle pose, any variation that you like. And send it back to warrior two. I'm just gonna face this way so I can see you. Back into warrior two. Now we're gonna connect this movement with our breath. So inhale, rise, straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Exhale, bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Inhale, rise. This time bring the hands to the heart and see if you can transition into goddess pose. So both toes turn outwards, both knees bend right over the toes, and be fluid. There's no way to be so rigid in this pose. And naturally it feels kind of nice to just move side to side, just like water, as we feel the inner thighs expand, as we feel the expansion here. Any movement into the arms that feels right. What we want to do is that we want to open the knees out to the side, toes pointing out to the side. The goal of this pose is that our knees are right on top of the ankles, right? And sit a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. Connect with your breath. So maybe inhale, rising. Exhale, get a little bit deeper into this pose. Again, keep it fluid if that feels good for you. If moving side to side feels good and natural, go ahead. If you want to be in this pose very still and quiet, again, go for it. Very nice. Last breath. Inhale. This time, rise. Bring the hands back to the heart, toes forward, and this time we're gonna actually fold just to release some of that tension. Stretch the backs of the legs, hands to the hips, shoulders roll back. Keep the toes pointing forward or maybe slightly in, heels slightly out. Hips are going to stay here and we're gonna open our inner thighs to face the back as we fold forward, keeping a very tall spine, keeping the shoulder heads back, neck tall. Inhale here. Exhale, send the inner thighs back. Imagine your butt is opening towards the back of the room. Don't let the hips go back. Keep the hips where they are. Instead, fold over. Maybe pause halfway, reconnect. Find that tall spine, maybe reach the crown of the head forward. And then your choice, you can keep the hands at the hips, or maybe the fingertips come to a block, come to the mat. Pause here. Inhale, exhale, fold. Oh. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Maybe the fingertips walk back, palms walk back. Shoulders out of the ears. The hips are going up. You feel the stretch in the backs of the legs. As always, you're welcome to have a very soft bend in the knees. And maybe eventually the crown of the head will come down, but that's not the goal. That's just an advantage. Taking one deep breath here. Neck is tall, shoulders open. Slowly begin to roll the head up. Find that tall spine, shoulders back. Hands come to the hips. And roll back up. Nice. Step to the front of the mat. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach up, high prayer. Exhale, fold over the legs all the way down. Inhale, halfway, tall spine. Exhale, step or jump back, lowering with control, taking a flow. Inhale, opens the heart, opens the chest. Exhale, sends you back to downward facing dog. In down dog, take a deep cleansing breath. Ground through the right leg and the two palms. Lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot to the left thumb. And then spin the back heel down, rising up into warrior two. Breath and movement. Exhale here. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Feel the side stretch. Exhale, switch it to side angle pose. Any variation that feels good for you. Get a little bit deeper into the pose. Revolve the chest up. Exhale, come back into warrior two. And we're going to connect it with the breath. Inhale, lift up, straighten the leg. Exhale, sit back into warrior two. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sit a little bit deeper. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sit back down. This time, inhale, lift up. Pause, bring the hands to the heart, and let's come back into our goddess pose. So again, take your time, arrive here, and let's get really settled if possible. Lengthening the tailbone down towards the earth. Feel the inner thighs expand. Shoulders relaxing down the back. Any arm variation that feels good and normal for you. I like to come into cactus arms, so the shoulders, the chest is open. The elbows are in line with the shoulders. And I'm making a little mudra with my hands, the index and the thumb connecting. The limited self and the highest self are connecting. Take a deep breath, sit a little bit deeper. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale, ha. Inhale, rise. Again, step forward to the front of the mat, arriving in Tadasana. Take a deep breath. Inhale, sit back into chair pose. Find your chair pose, sit a little bit deeper. Belly away from the thighs. Shift the hips back, tailbone down. Maybe Mula Bandha, belly in, arms reach up. Shoulders out of the ears. Here, you're more than welcome to use your blocks for our next pose. Maybe but the blocks can frame the mat in any height on top of your mat for our next pose. Slightly lift the right leg, bend the right knee out to the side, and sit back into this variation of a standing pigeon. So a lot of the times what happens is that our weight gets all crunky because our body is trying to balance. So see if you can square the hips. Sit the hips back and keep that same level. Don't let the water bowl tilt, and just allow for the right hip to stretch, to feel the stretch, the right knee to open out to the side. Maybe this is already enough for you. If you want a little bit more stretch, keep bending and sitting down, and then here you can have the hands on the block any height that feels good. Or if you're super flexible, you can also bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Wherever you are, take 3 deep breaths. See if you can challenge your balance and send it to warrior 3. You can have the hands at the heart. Keep bending and sending that right leg back towards the back wall and flex the right foot. Imagine you could step on the back wall. Again, you can always use your blocks here or any other arm variation. See if you can find a tall spine from that back foot to the very crown of your head. You are always welcome to have a very slight bend in that front knee, keeping that front knee soft. And then hands back to the heart, slowly bend that right knee back in. Stay with me, lift the arms up if you can, recommit to the groundingness and lift that right leg up and place it back down, Tadasana. Bring the hands at the heart. If you need to shake anything out, shake it. Take a deep inhale and sit it back into chair. Again, lift the belly away. Maybe Mula Bandha, lengthen the tailbone down, sit a little bit deeper. Have the blocks ready. In chair pose, lift the left leg up. Bend the left knee out to the side. Always welcome to use your hands here, flexing that left foot so we can protect the knee. And slowly begin to sit it back into standing pigeon. Again, take your time, check in with yourself, see how far you want to go. If this is already enough for you, stay here. If you definitely want to fold and you want a deeper stretch, you're more than welcome to use your blocks and come to any height that feels good. Connecting with the breath, feeling the stretch in the outer left hip. Slowly lift it up, hands to the heart, shift it back, warrior 3, sending the left leg out and back behind you. Hip points facing down. You feel grounded and stable. You can have a very soft bend in that right knee. Back leg is nice and strong, flexing the foot so the toes pointing down. You can almost step on that back wall, shoulders back, neck is tall, line of energy from the crown of the head to that back foot. Slowly having a soft bend in the standing leg, bend that left knee back in. Recommit, reground, maybe inhale the arms up, maybe inhale and lift the left leg and slowly place it back down, Tadasana. Just to close the series, let's sit back into chair for just a breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, coming all the way up, high prayer. Bring all that energy into the midline. And let's take a flow. Inhale, rising with the breath. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, prepared, shoulders open, chest opens, hands to the mat, step, hop, or any other variation to take a flow of your choice. Inhale opens the heart, opens the chest, and exhale sends you to downward facing dog. Taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Roll into plank pose. Strong plank, pressing the mat away, engaging the core, and then lower all the way onto your belly. Palms by your side. Let's lift up into Shalabhasana on our breath. So as we inhale, lifting the shoulders, the chest, the arms, the feet, the legs, sending the pubic bone down into the earth. Exhale, bring everything back down. Just gentle to start. Inhale, lift it all back up. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, on your own breath, lift up. Exhale, send it back. Next inhale, pause at the top. And bring the fists together, bring the palms together, make a fist. Palms pressing into each other, shoulders going up and back, keeping the chin tucked so the neck feels long. Lift the inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Lift the chest higher, lift the feet higher. And exhale, lower everything down. Release the hands. Maybe the palms come underneath the shoulders. Lift back up and press into child's pose. Widen the knees. Sit the hips back. Taking a breather and a little release for the low back. Roll back up and find downward facing dog. Okay, you guys. Lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Knee to nose, round, and step the right foot to the right thumb. And this time, we're gonna stay in runner's lunge. So you're on the ball of the back foot, hips are squared towards the front room, that knee is bent 90 degrees, shoulders go back. You can use blocks here or you're on the fingertips. Find that long line of energy from that back heel to the crown of the head. And then plant the left palm right here in line with your front foot. Shoulder stays open. And see if you can revolve the chest open, lengthening the right arm up towards the sky. So taking a little twist in our runner's lunge. Chest open, shoulders open. Take a deep inhale. And bring that hand down. Lower the back foot down. Find your low lunge. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands clasped behind you. Open the shoulder on the next breath. Maybe a slight back bend. And hands come back to frame the foot. Your choice to take a flow, step into plank, take a flow, or you can just from here go to downward facing dog. Find stillness, catch your breath. In down dog, lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the left knee and step the left foot to the left thumb. Find your runner's lunge first. Really engaging that back foot So tailbone is long, belly is engaged, front knee is bent to 90 degrees over that ankle. You're on the ball of the back foot, hips are squared on the blocks or fingertips on the mat, as long as the chest and the shoulders remain open. Let's pause here for a breath, finding that tall line of energy from that back heel to the crown of the head. And then from here, plant the right palm underneath the shoulder, keeping the shoulder open, keeping that long line of energy, twisting from the core, and maybe lifting the left arm up towards the sky. Again, see if you can soften and find that balance between effort and between softness. Last breath into your twist. That inner thigh is engaged, lifting up. Bring the palm down. Lower the back knee down. Low lunge. Inhale, rise. Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, maybe the hands go back behind you. Clasp the hands together. Open the heart, open the chest. And bring the hands back to the mat. This time you can step the left knee back and come to take a seat in the middle of your mat. Lower down vertebrae by vertebrae so the back is back on the mat, and then hug the knees in. If it feels good for you, move the feet, the knees side to side, a gentle massage for the lower back. Or give yourself any other stretches that feels right. Let the spine ravel down on the mat. And then your choice of hip opener, hip stretch. I'm gonna start by thread the needle. You're more than welcome to come into pigeon facing the mat. Keeping the left knee bent, right ankle comes on top of, right below the left knee, right knee open out to the side, flexing the right foot. You can grab underneath the left thigh or the left shin if this feels okay for your knee. Actively pressing the right knee out to the side so you can feel a stretch here. If this is not enough for you, you have more options. You can grab the right shin, just like pigeon, and then lower the left leg on the mat. Option 1. Option 2, my favorite, come into Gomukhasana. So the knees stack on top of each other, the left knee underneath the right knee, and then you grab the outer edges of your feet. This way you have more control. Everything relaxing back, down on the mat. Spine, neck, shoulders relaxed. Feeling the stretch into the outer hip. Soften the breath. And begin to think back about the water quality. And going back to the cooling and the feminine aspect and the energy that's within all of us, no matter what gender we identify with. See what can you do to nourish, what can you do to soften, what can you do to be more in the flow. Whenever you're ready, slowly release. And let's do the same thing you did on the other side. So whether it's thread the needle, grabbing the right thigh this time, taking your time to find a stretch that feels good for you. Maybe it's pigeon on your back on this side, or maybe it's Gomukhasana, stacking the knees, being very gentle with our knees and our hip joints. See what works for you, what feels good today at this time. No judgment. Letting go of what it's supposed to be, what I used to be able to do, what I need to be doing. And instead being more in the flow with what does my body want at this moment. Whenever you're ready, release. Again, hug the knees in if it feels good. Happy baby. Grabbing the outer feet, the outer edges of the feet. Any movements before we go into Shavasana. And for today's Shavasana, I invite you to explore something a little different. You can have a long cushion or a folded blanket, or you can use your 2 blocks here underneath your knees. See what works for you. So blocks always an option. Or if you feel a little bit more sensitive, you're more than welcome to roll up a blanket or use a very long cushion. Place it underneath the knees, lower yourself back down. So this way you keep your hips open, keep the spine tall. Tuck the shoulders under. Maybe the feet come together, the soles of the feet are together, and you begin to release and let go. Maybe making a triangle with your hands, thumbs together, fingertips together, and placing it right over that pelvis area, the pubic bone. Bringing the awareness back into this region as we prepare for our Shavasana, final relaxation pose. First, allowing the breath to be fluid, just like water. And then let go of any effort, even let go of the breath. It will be fluid, it will happen naturally. Softening the feet, the toes, relaxing the ankles, the shins, relaxing the knees, softening and relaxing the thighs. The hips feel supported and open. The belly is soft. The spine is tall. The shoulders are relaxed. Jaw, cheekbone, all the muscles in your face softened out. When you're ready to come out, deepen the breath slowly. And very gently begin to roll over to one side, being aware of the props and your surroundings. Resting in a fetal position first for just the breath. Using the top hand, help yourself to rise back up to a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed or the gaze inward if possible. Check in, see how you feel. How does your breath feel? How is your body? What were you able to take away from the mat today? How do your hips feel? Were you able to let go and connect with the fluidity, with the flow? Were you able to take something away from the element of water and being fluid like water? With whatever you're able to take away from the practice, bring the hands into the heart. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, bow to yourself for being open-minded and sticking with the practice. Namaste. I hope to see you guys very soon.